Welcome to the Self-Growth Nerds podcast. I'm your host, Marie, a courage coach, creative soul, and adventure seeker. Since through hiking the Pacific Crest Trail in 2019, I'm on a mission to help you embrace your most confident self so you can achieve your dreams too. If you're eager for deep conversations, big questions, and meaningful connections, join me on the quest to discovering how we can create a more magical and memorable life. Hello nerds, how are you? I hope you're well. I'm doing okay. I had planned an episode for today initially that I tried to record, but my heart was not into it. My brain is a bit mushy today. So I asked myself, okay, should I push through it? Should I not do an episode? Should I take a week off? And then I had an idea. It's going to be a late Valentine's Day gift. It's going to be very different from what I've done in the episodes before. Let's see if you enjoy it, okay? I love to collect quotes. I have a folder full of them that I've been collecting for years and years and years, and I often go back, read through them, and I realized recently that many of them are related to love, and they make me smile every time. So I thought, how about I just read you some of my favorite quotes about love? If you think that's cheesy, well, you can press stop and go do something else. Otherwise, you can just sit back, relax, grab a blanket, maybe a cup of tea, and just listen and let yourself dream and think about the people that you love. So I know Valentine's Day was last week, but it's never too late to feel warm and fuzzy, especially when it's cold like it is here in Canada today. So let's do it. I hope you enjoy. The first quote is from a Tumblr page that seems to no longer exist. So I'm sorry, I do not have a source, but it was too beautiful not to share. It goes like this. She had the most beautiful eyes. She hated them because she thought they were just brown, but they had the smallest hint of gold in daylight. And when the sun was setting and the world was on fire, they were a beautiful shade of brave and adventurous and honest. And I swear if she was talking to me when the light was in her eyes, I didn't hear a word she said. Do you ever just want to sit next to someone and listen to everything they could possibly say about anything ever just because you like their face and their voice and their general existence? She liked messy beds and movie nights without any lights on. She liked the quiet company of a few good friends. Her idea of love was gentle and silent, like a whisper of a touch. I love it. The second one is by Lee Ann Lunsford. It goes like this. My grandmother once told me, relationships are work, honey, and they are not 50-50. Some days when I get up, I only feel like giving 10%. Then your granddaddy has to give 90% that day. But there is always 100% love. I love this one, and my mom, who's an accountant, told me the same thing once about her and my dad. She said when there were seasons of their lives where he was more of like a 30%, she would take the 70%, and it would go back and forth like this. And it's unrealistic to expect 50-50 from both people in a long-term relationship. All right, the next one is from a person called N''Tima, okay? Ntima. It might have been from a blog, I am not sure. Marry your best friend. I do not say that lightly. Really, truly find the strongest, happiest friendship in the person you fall in love with. Someone who speaks highly of you. Someone you can laugh with. The kind of laughs that make your belly ache and your nose snort. The embarrassing, earnest, healing kind of laughs. Wit is important. Life is too short not to love someone who lets you be a fool with them. Make sure they are somebody who lets you cry too. Despair will come. Find someone that you want to be there with you through those times. Most importantly, marry the one that makes passion, love, and madness combine and course through you, and love that will never dilute. even when the waters get deep and dark. Next, we have a quote by Harvey Milk, that's probably from the movie Milk. Go after her. Fuck, don't sit there and wait for her to call. Go after her because that's what you should do if you love someone. Don't wait for them to give you a sign because it might never come. Don't let people happen to you. Don't let me happen to you or her. She's not a fucking television show or a tornado. There are people I might have loved. Had they gotten on the airplane or run down the street after me or called me up drunk at 4 a.m. because they need to tell me right now and because they cannot regret this, and I always thought I'd be the only one doing crazy things for people who would never give enough of a fuck to do it back or to act like idiots or be entirely vulnerable and honest, and making someone fall in love with you is easy, and flying 3,000 miles on 4 days' notice because you can't just sit there and do nothing and breathe into telephones is not everyone's idea of love, but it is the way I can recognize it because that is what I do. Go scream it and be with her in meaningful ways because that is beautiful and that is generous and that is what loving someone is. That is raw and that is unguarded and that is all that is worth anything, really. Now the next one is from Jamie Tworkowski. You'll need coffee shops and sunsets and road trips, airplanes and passports and new songs and old songs, but people more than anything else. You will need other people, and you will need to be that other person to someone else. A living, breathing, screaming invitation to believe better things. These quotes are all about love, but they're not necessarily about intimate love. It can also be about love between a brother and a sister, love between two friends. I think love can apply to all kinds of relationships. So the next one is from Orlando Aloysius Batista. It's a very short one. The greatest weakness of most humans is their hesitancy to tell others how much they love them while they're alive. Very simple, and always a good reminder. Now we have Rupi Kaur, and it's from Milk and Honey. Most importantly, love, like it's the only thing you know how. At the end of the day, all this means nothing. This page, where you're sitting, your degree, your job, your money, nothing even matters except love and human connection. Who you loved, how deeply you loved them, how you touched the people around you, and how much you gave them. Another one by Rupi Kaur. We must learn to focus on warm energy, always. Soak our limbs in it and become better lovers to the world. For if we can't learn to be kinder to each other, how will we ever learn to be kinder to the most desperate parts of ourselves? Yeah, that's true. I said that love can be between any humans, but love can also be between you and you. And you and the parts of you that are harder to love. C.S. Lewis wrote, "Don't bother too much about your feelings. When they're humble, loving, brave, give thanks to them. When they're conceited, selfish, cowardly, ask to have them altered. In neither case are they you, but only a thing that happens to you. What matters is your intentions and your behavior." Okay, the next one is from Briga Jung. I hate small talk. I want to talk about atoms, death, aliens, sex, magic, intellect, the meaning of life, faraway galaxies, music that makes you feel different, memories, the lies you've told, your flaws, your favorite scents, your childhood, what keeps you up at night, your insecurities and your fears. I like people with depth who speak with emotion from a twisted mind. So delicious. Next one is from David Foster Wallace in the book Oblivion. I yearn for genuine connections and honest energy. That's what I need. That's all I really need. I'm attracted to intelligence, not the book smart type of intelligence. I could care less whether you've gone to college or how much money you make because of it. I like intelligent conversations that make me think even hours after it's ended. I soak up words from radical minds. The truth is you already know what it's like. You already know the difference between the size and speed of everything that flashes through you and the tiny inadequate bit of it all you can ever let anyone know. As though inside of you is this enormous room full of what seems like everything in the whole universe at one time or another, and yet the only parts that get out have to somehow squeeze out through one of those tiny keyholes you see under the knob in older doors, as if we are all trying to see each other through these tiny keyholes. But it does have a knob. The door can open, but not in the way you think. The truth is, you've already heard this, that this is what it's like, that it's what makes room for the universe inside you. All the endless, inbent fractals of connection and symphonies of different voices, the infinities you can never show another soul. And you think it makes you a fraud, the tiny fraction anyone else ever sees. Of course you're a fraud. Of course what people see is never you. And of course you know this. And of course you try to manage what part they see if you know it's only a part. Who wouldn't? It's called free will, Sherlock. But at the same time, it's why it feels so good to break down and cry in front of others, or to laugh, or speak in tongues, or chant in Bengali. It's not English anymore. It's not getting squeezed through any hole. So cry all you want. I won't tell anybody. This is kind of like a meditation. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And let's keep going. The next one is by Emery Allen. Nostalgia is a liar. Nothing was ever as good as you remember it to be. There's a reason you don't talk to that person anymore. There's a reason you're not part of each other's lives. Don't trust nostalgia. Grieve, reflect, move on. Not everything is supposed to become something beautiful and long-lasting. Sometimes people come into your life to show you what is right and what is wrong, to show you who you can be, to teach you to love yourself, to make you feel better for a little while, or to just be someone to walk with at night and spill your life to. Not everyone is going to stay forever, and we still have to keep on going and thank them for what they've given us. This reminds me of a project I did when I was in college. It was called Comets. So some people, I believe, are stars in the sky of your life, and they stay there for a long, long time. Some people are comets. Doesn't mean they shine less brightly, but they don't stay for as long, and that's okay. We've got to take them for what they are, comets and not necessarily stars. The next quote is from Pema Chodro. We are like children building a sandcastle. We embellish it with beautiful shells, bits of driftwood, and pieces of colored glass. The castle is ours, off limits to others. We're willing to attack if others threaten to hurt it. Yet despite all our attachment, we know that the tide will inevitably come in and sweep the sandcastle away. The trick is to enjoy it fully, but without clinging. And when the time comes, let it dissolve back into the sea. Now we have a quote from Sarah and Phil Kay from When Love Arrives. Maybe love stays. Maybe love can't. Maybe love shouldn't. Love arrives exactly when love is supposed to, and love leaves exactly when love must. When love arrives, say, welcome, make yourself comfortable. If love leaves, ask her to leave the door open behind her. Turn off the music, listen to the quiet, whisper, thank you for stopping by. Now, I love the next one by Carl R. Rogers. People are just as wonderful as sunsets if you let them be. When I look at a sunset, I don't find myself saying, soften the orange a bit on the right-hand corner. Don't try to control a sunset. I watch with awe as it unfolds. And then we have Ray Bradbury, and it's a short excerpt from Fahrenheit 451. Stuff your eyes with wonder, he said. Live as if you'd drop dead in 10 seconds. See the world. It's more fantastic than any dream, made or paid for in factories. Another gem from Robert Holden: your relationship with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship you have. I should actually make a podcast episode just about that. I find that our relationship with ourselves is the most important one, and whenever something's off with our inner being, we transfer that onto our other relationships. It changes our lens, the lenses through which we look at the people that we love, the people we work with, the people that we meet on the street. So whenever you find yourself wanting to improve someone else or improve a relationship that you're in, try to first turn towards yourself and see how you can improve your relationship with you. Okay, the next quote is from Audre Lorde from Coal. Today, I heard my heart screeching like a subway train, loudly enough to remind me it was still human, loudly enough to hurt. Now we have Bell Hooks. Bell Hooks wrote, to begin by always thinking of love as an action rather than a feeling is one way in which anyone using the word in this manner automatically assumes accountability and responsibility. We are often taught we have no control over our feelings, yet most of us accept that we choose our actions, that intention and will inform what we do. We also accept that our actions have consequences. To think of actions shaping feelings is one way we rid ourselves of conventionally accepted assumptions, such as that one simply, quote-unquote, falls in love without exerting will or choice. Ooh, I really love this one and really wish it would continue, but I'm pretty sure it's from her book, All About Love, so let's all go and get that book and read it. Sounds really good. Next, I have a quote by Nisargadatta Maharaj. It has nothing to do with effort. Just turn away, look between the thoughts rather than at the thoughts. When you happen to walk in a crowd, you do not fight every man you meet. You just find your way between. When you fight, you invite a fight. But when you do not resist, you meet no resistance. When you refuse to play the game, you are out of it. This one is not about love, but I thought it was too good not to slip it in here because I think it applies to everything. We make our daily lives more complicated because we fight with our thoughts instead of just letting them be. I often tell my clients to see their thoughts like they're just balloon floating around them. They're optional. You can either look at the balloon floating by, or you can grab the string and let yourself get carried away far, far, far from what you were doing because you decided, consciously or not, to follow that thought. But remember, it's always a choice. You do not have to follow your thoughts where they want to take you. You can just let them float by or just let them be people in the crowd without paying attention. Let's move on to a quote by LB from A Few Things About Love. You should know that while a good kiss makes for a good moment, it doesn't have any value. Charm is only glimmer on the surface, so don't put too much stock in the butterflies because they will eventually settle, and that's nothing to be afraid of. It doesn't mean that you have settled. It just means that there's more substance to lean on than the frail nature of the spark between lovers. That electric current isn't what keeps you from walking away in the middle of a fight. It's not what makes you want to be honest when the truth will hurt. And it doesn't give any valid indications of whether you two are good for each other. To be in a committed relationship, you can appreciate chemistry, but you must see through it and choose to love in a way that lasts, even when there are glitches in the passion. Okay, I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am. Let's do 3 more quotes, okay? This one is from Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close by Jonathan Safran Foer. He wrote, "It was one of the best days of my life. a day during which I lived my life and didn't think about my life at all. Now we have a quote from Terence McKenna, who said, "I'll try to be around and about, but if I'm not, then you know that I'm behind your eyelids and I'll meet you there." And finally, one last quote from the author Neil Gaiman, and it was one of his New Year wishes that he writes every year. "May your coming year be filled with magic and dreams and good madness. I hope you read some fine books and kiss someone who thinks you're wonderful. And don't forget to make some art. Write or draw or build or sing or live as only you can. And I hope somewhere in the next year you surprise yourself." All right, so that's it for today. I have so many more quotes in that folder of mine, so let me know. Reach out if you enjoyed this episode, and I'll make sure that I squeeze in another one of these in the future. Otherwise, have a beautiful week that's filled with love for you, for your friends, for your family, for the strangers that you meet in the coffee shop. I love you all, and thank you so much for listening. It means a lot to me that you're here every week. I love it when you get in touch and tell me about the episodes that you enjoy, the insights that you have, or just say hello. I'm a real person here behind the mic, so don't be scared to reach out. All right, have a beautiful, beautiful week, and in the words of John Green, don't forget to be awesome. You just listened to the Self-Growth Nerds podcast. Make sure to subscribe and to find me on Instagram at Self-Growth Nerds. If you want individual help developing the confidence to create a more meaningful and exciting life, visit selfgrowthnerds.com today to learn how. Finally, I want to thank my friend Etienne Galano for editing this, and I want to thank you, kind-hearted souls, for growing into your truest, most courageous selves every day and making this world a better, more beautiful place. My name is Marie, and I will talk to you next week.